Hey, what's going on everybody? It's the Minecraft here and welcome back to another video. Now today we have a very cool video showcasing the rats mod, but before we get into that, I just want to clarify where I've been the past however many months it's been. I've mainly been working on this personal project called the Herobrine mod. This mod aims to completely overhaul and make the Herobrine boss fight much more difficult than any other mod has ever made it. This mod will be animated and it'll be for Minecraft 1.12.2. There is a sneak peek on screen right now, so if you want to catch that when it releases, make sure to subscribe and stick around. Now, what does this mod do? Well, as the name might suggest, this mod adds rats, although it also adds a lot of other things and is very customizable, as you can see by this massive config here. I won't go through it all because it's just a lot, but if you want to customize basically anything about the mod, it will be found in the config folder where all config files are generated. Now they will spawn anywhere in the overworld that has a light level of 7 or less, so it's got to be pretty dark for these guys to spawn. Now a wild rat will have one goal and one goal only, and that is to eat. It wants to eat as much as possible. So it will break and eat any planted crops that may be around, either yours or a villager's. They can also steal food out of chests, so even chests aren't safe. They will leave behind contaminated food sometimes as well. And they can also break through wooden walls to create rat holes. Now I've had a little bit of trouble getting this to work, but it could just be a bug with this latest version, and I'm sure it works in other versions. Now you may be wondering, how do I prevent these rats from getting in my house and eating all my food? Well, there are a couple of things you can do. The first is just have stone walls, because rats can't dig through stone walls. You can also tame cats, which will viciously attack any rat that they see trying to steal your nice, delicious food. And you can also craft rat traps, which, when baited with food, a rat will be attracted to it, try to take the food, trigger the trap, and instantly die. Now, real quick before we go further with the video, I just wanted to bring something to your guys' attention, and that is the fact that 98.2% of you guys who watch my videos are not subscribed. That means if every single one of you who watched the videos was subscribed, we'd be at around 170,000 subscribers. That is ridiculous. That means we'd have the silver play button and we'd almost be at 200,000 subscribers. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around for more awesome content, including custom mods, as well as mod showcases and gender showcases and Titan showcases as well. Now let's get back to the video. However, these rats aren't all pests. You can tame them. They will eat cheese like they do any other food. You can create cheese by putting a bucket of milk in a cauldron, then it'll turn into some cheese. You can also use another mod's cheese. So if you have another food mod that adds cheese, you can use that to tame the rat as well. They have a hidden trust factor that will increase with every piece of cheese, because naturally a rat will want to stay as far away from the player as they can. So you have to build up the trust factor by feeding them cheese. If you feed them 10 pieces of cheese, they'll trust you enough not to run away from you. After the 10th piece, every subsequent piece will have a 33% chance to tame the rat. They will definitely be tamed by the time you have fed them 15 pieces of cheese. One of the most important things a tamed rat can do is Auto Crafting. So the way you do that is you give the tamed rat the crafting upgrade, which we'll get into upgrades later, and you place the rat on top of a rat crafting table, and from then you can just have it automatically craft whatever you want as long as it has the required resources to do so. Now, when you interact with a rat, by default it's with a right click, you'll come up with this nice little menu. And the menu has a couple things the rat can do. The first one is wander, where it will still try and defend its owner if something attacks it. However, if nothing is going on, it'll just wander around like normal vanilla mobs. Then we have stay here, where the rat will do a cool little sitting animation. It'll sit up, and then it will not move from that spot. Next one we have follow me, which the rat will behave like a wolf, in that it follows the player and it will defend its owner from any hostile mobs. And now for the next one, you can influence the behavior with crafting a cheese staff. Cheese staff, very simple to craft, just a stick and a piece of cheese. And then you can shift right click. You can set a chest to be a designated retrieval spot or pickup or drop off spot rather. And you can set the rat's home spot so it'll come back to that spot. and it's just very useful when dealing with rats. You'll definitely want to have one around. So, we have Hunt Prey, where the rat will target and attack any animals and monsters nearby you. We have Gather Items, where the rat will pick up any items on the floor and then bring them to the designated chest. We have Harvest, where it'll break grass and crops, pick up the drops and bring them to a chest. So if it's breaking grass, it'll break the wheat seeds, and then if we're breaking crops, it'll just put whatever crop you get. And then finally we have Transport Items, where it'll move items from one container into another container. So if you're shifting bases or something, you don't want to carry everything in your inventory back and forth, you can just get an army of rats to do it for you. Now, rats can be very specialized. They can wear all sorts of helmets, so they can wear any vanilla helmet, they can wear pumpkins, banners, and there's even 9 special hats added by this mod that will give the rat armor and just overall make it look very cool and unique. And now for the upgrades. There are a total of 50 rat upgrades that will all make your rat do special things and give them special stats. Now, I'm not going to cover every single upgrade in this video because that would be ridiculous and take way too much time, but if you want to try and check them out for yourself, the link will be in the description as always. Now, how do you transport these rats? Well, the coolest way of doing it is by shift right clicking a rat. Up to 3 of them can ride on your shoulder at once, and then as everywhere you go, they'll go with you. To get them off, simply sneak and then punch the air with an empty hand. And there's also a rat sack that will transport multiple rats and store them as an item for convenience. Now, if I want to get more rats, you can breed them. So you get a rat cage, the recipe is shown here, and then you have the rat on your shoulder, and then you interact with the cage by right click. The rats will go into the cage, and then if the cage has a breeding lantern in it, the rats will reproduce if there's 1 male, 1 female, and then they'll produce 1 to 3 pinkies. These pinkies can take a day to become adults, and the rat breeding lanterns can only breed 1 pair of rats a day. Alright, now let's cover the custom mobs that this mod adds besides just regular rats. The first mob we're going to go over is the Plague Rat. The Plague Rat is very similar in appearance to a regular rat in size and shape. However, it has dirty green fur and they are hostile on sight. When they hit you, they apply the Plague Potion effect, which as far as I can tell, prevents you from regenning any health even with golden apples, enchanted or not. Next up, we have the Pied Piper, which is a rare evil illager that spawns in roof forests, and he controls rats with his rat flute. Around him, he has a small army of vicious rats that will attack you. When you kill him, he will drop his rat flute and some minor ores. When I killed him, I got some lapis and some golden nuggets. Now we have a passive mob, the Plague Doctor. This guy is basically a villager. He's passive and he spawns in villages. When it comes to nighttime, however, you probably won't be able to find him because he is invisible for the whole night. When the invisibility wears off, you'll just drink another invisibility potion, so on and so forth until the night ends. Trading with him gives you a bunch of items that you can't normally get, and if you kill him, which I don't advise because he's probably better to just trade with, when you kill him, he'll drop contaminated food, rotten flesh, and some bundles of sweet smelling herbs. However, if the Plague Doctor gets struck by lightning, a boss mob will spawn called the Black Death. He has 400 HP. He doesn't like to get up close and personal, so instead he will summon a bunch of minions that will try to kill you. These minions include Plague Rats, Plague Clouds, and Plague Beasts. Plague Rats we've already gone over. Plague Clouds are these floating entities that will inflict you with plague, and Plague Beasts are similar to rats except they are much, much bigger and much stronger. When he dies, he will drop the Black Death Mask, the Black Death Scythe, 1 to 3 mysterious token chunks, which you can use if you get enough of them to craft the token to Ratlantis, which we'll go over in just a second, and 1 to 5 bundles of sweet smelling herbs. Now this mod adds its own dimension, Ratlantis. To get there, you need a magical token. So normally, rats will drop a rat pelt and raw rats, however they have a 1 in 10,000 chance to drop a chunky cheese token. There are, of course, more ways of getting it, and they will be covered in the wiki, which is linked down below. Now, Ratlantis is this beautiful tropical world with endless archipelago, ruins made of marble cheese, and plenty of ores. Ore spawns are boosted higher than they normally would be in the overworld. In this dimension, rats spawn at a higher rate than they do in the overworld, and they can even be wearing rat togas. Rats wearing togas can drop diamonds, gold, prismarine crystals, the rat toga itself, cheese, and books. Now let's get on to the unique mobs of this dimension. First off, we have a simple one, the Raffish. It's basically a fish that looks very similar to a rat. You can catch it in a bucket like you can regular tropical fish, and you can eat it for half of a food. Next, the Ratlantian spirit. These things fly around similar to the way gas do in the nether. They spawn these cool particle effects around them that make it easier for you to see where they are since they're so small, and they shoot Ratlantian spirit flames at the player. Upon death, they will drop Ratlantian spirit flames, which can be used in crafting recipes for upgrades. Next up, we have the feral Ratlantian. This is hostile to all non-Ratlantian mobs, including the player. They have 40 HP, and they're similar in attack pattern to a rat, and they have a 5% chance to drop a Ratlantian Automaton head. The next mob up is the Ratlantian Automaton itself. It is crafted similar to an iron golem, where you need any type of marble cheese, a Ratlantian core, and a Ratlantian head. They are hostile to all non-Ratlantian mobs, just like the Ratlantian natives, or feral Ratlantians, and they can break through blocks that are weaker than obsidian, so they can break through pretty much any block to get to their prey. If you are in melee range, it will attempt to hit you with a saw blade, and if you're out of melee range, it will shoot a laser at you. Both of these attacks do 6 damage. When you finally manage to kill this thing, it will drop a saw blade and arcane technology, which can be used in more crafting recipes for upgrades. Next up, we have another boss, the Neo-Ratlantian. The way you get this is you throw a vial of consciousness at a feral Ratlantian. Once you defeat this challenging boss fight, you will get a psionic rat brain, which once again is used in a crafting recipe for a rat upgrade. Next up, we have the Pyrat. They travel around in their little boats, and they shoot explosive cannonballs made of cheese at you. When you kill them, you can kill the boat, and then the Pyrat will be dismounted from the boat, and when you kill the actual Pyrat, it'll drop its Pyrat hat, as well as the regular rat drops. Now we have a cool, unique structure. So as you may have seen, there are plenty of ruins around Ratlantis. However, this next one is not a ruin, but instead a generated boss fight structure. This is the Flying Dutch Rat. Once you find the ship, you can loot it, go through its chests, and get some nice rare items from the chest, including coins, which can help you make more tokens. You can get food, you can get all sorts of things that will remove plague, etc., etc. Once it is nighttime, you can interact with a ghostly bell upon it to summon the Flying Dutch Rat himself. This is an extremely challenging boss fight. He will summon ghostly pirates at you, which you have to defeat. However, once you defeat him, you will get some ghost pirate ectoplasm and the Flying Dutch Rat ship wheel, both of which, of course, can be used in recipes. That is pretty much going to wrap up this mod showcase, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Of course, there is still a lot more stuff in this mod that I haven't covered. There's a lot more little stuff, and of course, there's all the 50 upgrades, which we've barely touched upon in this video. However, if we were going to go into everything, this video would just drag on way too long. There is even custom items that will be added if you have other mods installed. For instance, if you have Tinker's Construct, you can make weapons and tools out of cheese. So if you want to check out this mod, which I highly recommend, the link will be down in the description below, as well as the link to the wiki so you can learn more, and the link to the required mod Citadel, which allows for the animations for 1.14.4 and above. If you're using 1.12.2, then you will need to install L Library instead. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. We'll see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.